Coast style hangout. The one and only FERRO. Man, we're talking custom car laws, and does it apply to you today? We have our Uncle Reggie, the owner, operator, East Coast Styles. We have Sebastian. He's Popo. Watch out.
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
But I got them laws and them rules and regulations you gotta follow.
You gotta follow. All right. So I was not briefed on any of the questions that we have this evening, but what are some of the most common laws that are maybe not broken? Obviously, it's probably speeding, stuff like that. Primo checking in. Hopefully, we can hear him. We still can't hear him. What are some of the common laws that you see as a police officer that are, kind of disputed in court that could go either way?
Most of them are normally your simple ones when it comes to customized cars. You get your first card, first thing you do, tint windows. Know your state laws on your window tint. Next thing you know, the Me Too movement. Everybody went out and got ground glows. Know what state laws, what colors you can and can't run. Or even if you can run ground glows on the road. Speeding, that's your normal, typical, that's everybody every day. Hands down. You're grandstanding. Don't go out there just because you got this customized car and you want to chauffeur your friends and go out and do a burnout because, that's a ticket. That goes three different ways. You got careless driving, reckless driving, and grandstanding. Right. Three different things right there.
Can I get in real quick? How come cop cars can have such dark tint, but I can't have tint at all?
Good one.
The reason for the dark tint behind police cars, A, is safety. It's a safety issue because it's not so much as the safety of that police officer, which it is. It's the safety of the people because there's been so many random shootings of police officers sitting in their patrol cars.
Okay, I will agree with that, but however, isn't that the same on the other side?
However, you got some places that allow it. Me, for example, I actually have a prescription to have dark window tint on my vehicle because of previous injuries. There are medical issues where you can get a prescription for your window tint, but Joe Blow, the average drug dealer, goes out and gets his brand new car. He blacks out the windows, but it's a safety issue. The police aren't trying to hide anything behind the dark window tint. A lot of times it's actually the safety of the person in the back seat of that police car.
But why are their windshields tinted?
It is actually
in Rhode Island, in Cranston.
Well, I don't know about Rhode Island. Here, the sheriff's office that I work for, the only window tint on the windows is the factory tint from when they bought that car. Mm-hmm. So I drive an SUV, so the back windows are tinted on it. My front two windows are not. So they can see who's driving that car.
So my next question is, I guess, would be the shadow police cars, where, the logos are kind of shadowed out and stuff like that. Is that really lawful or?
Now, when it comes to the markings on the police cars, everybody asks that. The markings on the police cars has to be a certain size, a certain length. You just can't go out and throw a 3x3 magnet on the side of your car and say, well, that's a police car. The ghosted out cars It's more of it's a marked unit, but it's more used towards a traffic enforcement thing versus I got a full marked
It's
car.
literally showing
I
it
got the light bar. But
I know I can hear you.
if you got your high traffic areas where that discretion.
Here's my here's my test bar testing while we're doing the stream, and it's not coming through.
Yeah, it is.
Oh well, we can hear you.
Oh, it is. Oh, good. Okay,
We can hear you pretty much.
there we go. That's weird. I'm like, I pressed the thing on like 6 different times. It's working on everything else. It just didn't work here. I just cycled through all the audio on Restream and then came back. All right, cool. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Go ahead.
It's okay. Your boys taking care of you. Go ahead, Sebastian. Continue.
We're just glad to have you. How about that?
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for asking. All right, cool.
But
Where'd I miss?
we're
Not
talking
much.
about right now.
Sebastian, good.
Right now, we're talking about the markings on police cars with the marked and the ghost markings on cars.
Yeah, what's the deal
But-
with that?
Every state is different. It's actually the marking on police cars is actually written into a law. They have to be a certain size. They have to be a certain dimension. But every state is different with that. The state of Georgia, for example, it has to have a roof mounted light, which means it either has to be on top of the roof outside of the car as a full light bar, or it's mounted to the ceiling of the roof on the inside of the car. The ghosting of cars, most of your ghosted police cars are used for traffic. It's traffic enforcement, and that's all they mainly do. But you
Wouldn't we kind of go into the realm of entrapment when we're looking at what would normally just be a, I don't know, 2019 Ford Explorer that is blacked out, but it's ghosted Cranston Police Station on the side, Cranston Police on the side. I mean,
but here's the best part about it.
Yeah.
Joe Smo, the regular guy, would think it's entrapment. However, it's not, because
I am Joe Smo.
if you look at it, it's not really ghosted. It's not a matte black. It's actually a reflective material.
That's true. Yeah, at night you can see
so
much
you
better
can
than you
see
can
that.
during the day.
Yeah.
So
they're not entrapping
am I being entrapped during the day when I can't see that reflective?
Unfortunately, no.
I'm just I'm poking bear, man.
I know. But unfortunately, no. You're not being entrapped any way how it goes, because of the fact it is a marked police car. Just because Joe Smo, the regular guy, wanted to do 80 in a 35 and he got pulled over.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it's sort of kind of speeding because
Sorta,
little
kinda.
Johnny decided to ride his bike out there in the middle of the street.
Too funny.
I mean, that's very good information, and like, I always thought that, and like our in Cranston, where I live, we kind of went almost ghosted patrol vehicles across the board, and I always thought, like, what the hell, like, I'm supposed to know that is a emergency vehicle.
Right.
But really and true, you also got to look at budgets too. That costs money. That's not paint. A lot of it's fine.
We get a lot of money. Yeah, there's a lot of money in the Cranston.
Yeah. We ain't gonna talk about it. But at the end of the day, that is a budget issue too. It's cheaper to do a one layer reflective versus where my sheriff's office, where I work, we have a 3-layer decal on our car.
Okay.
That gets pricey.
Of course,
so
I wanted to ask a question, Dennis. Since you're a police officer and everything else, I know my father is actually probably watching right now. And one thing that he has a garage and he does inspections. One of the things he always bothers him is a lot of custom cars They get told they can't have a certain amount of tint on their vehicles, the X amount of darkness on their front windshields, their side front windows. But yet, when they come in his garage, they expect him to inspect the cars, and he don't want to do that.
It's one of those when it comes to window tint, especially some states allow front windshield tinting, some states don't. Some states allow 35 on the front two windows, some states don't. You got to look at the state laws that's already in place.
But you understand his point of view, though, right? I mean, it does seem a little bit unfair that a custom car can't have dark windows, but a police car can.
But it's one of those, as a police officer and also as a car guy, do I agree with state inspection stickers? No.
Right.
Hey,
That's cool.
And we touched on the a little bit earlier because I agree. Like I literally driving to work today, I saw a cruiser parked and SUV Ford Explorer blacked out, windows blacked out. And like I can't put, 35% on my Cadillac because I'll end up getting pulled over.
When it comes to window tint, you got the Super Trooper cop,
yeah,
and then you got the cop that understands.
Yeah, I mean that's depending on who you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yes.
At the end of the day, believe it or not, it's actually all officer discretion. Because
right.
I can remember a time where I, in my personal car, was driving through the great state of Utah, of all places. Utah,
right.
of all places. Now,
Bunch of Mormons. Okay.
I got pulled over. Actually, I pulled myself over for speeding before the state trooper could actually get behind me. Because I was coming through one of the passes and I wasn't paying attention. The speed limit dropped from 65 to 35 coming through the pass.
The speed trap.
And I'm coming downhill. I don't want to burn up my brakes. I'm driving a Suburban.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But a part of my profession, what I used to do in law enforcement was K9. So my safety, I have blacked out windows.
Right.
So, because that's the last thing I need is Joe Smo, the drug dealer, find out what I'm driving and, off with my head because he knows what I drive when he sees me driving down the street.
Right.
Which is part of the whole officer safety thing. It's not that the police officers or that police department or that sheriff's officer, those state troopers think they're better than everybody. But you got to remember, a lot of these guys and girls that are doing this job are in that car for 12 hours. That is their office. It's not about them thinking that they're better than everybody because they can have blacked out windows. It is purely them sitting in that car. Take your normal day of 100 degrees and you throw that through windows that don't have window tint. And you got one person sitting in that car wearing a bulletproof vest, a polyester and or wool uniform, a t-shirt, a gun belt, and the AC is cranked to the max, and they're still burning up in that car.
I understand. I understand all that.
So
I get it, but like give us a percent, like that we can tint our cars to just make it look fucking cool or whatever. Like
most places, for the front two windows, they say 35. But
you don't get nothing. In Rhode Island, you get 0.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm screwed when I come up there. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. No. Well, no. Your it depends. It depends on your license plate. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
But if I got a Rhode Island license plate, which I have, I can have 0. I have to have a fish. I have a fishbowl on my Cadillac.
Prima, what's some other laws that you're curious about, especially when it comes to like any kind of the custom work?
I'll tell you what my biggest question is, and this is the thing that can specifically be towards an officer or a patrolman or any of that kind of stuff is, let's say, I'm going to put it like this. How exactly do you deal with a Karen? How do you deal with somebody who's come to your show and has decided that she's going to block a driveway or she's in the way of people doing, like, let's say you have a burnout pit and she's decided she's going to stand in the burnout pit. You've had, this thing, the permission to be there. For me, a lot of times it's, I'm going to get in their face and yell at them. But the thing is I'd like to hear the actual proper way of dealing with somebody who decides that they're going to take it upon themselves to police me when they're not the police. So,
For me, it's the easiest. That's the easiest, my easiest and most loved calls that I go on. It's not because it's a Karen or Kevin or Brad or it is, you have permission to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Karen don't.
Right.
Nobody invited Karen to your party.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Karen's property? No. Karen, go home. Get over it.
But see, there's a lot of times that stuff like that gets used against us. So, for instance, if we have a meet, and I had a friend that did this, it was his shop. The people weren't doing burnouts, but some of them were revving and popping. And there was a little lady that drove up and decided that she was going to complain about it. She didn't even stick around for the police to show up. She left. The police show up, and they are trying to break it up on private property. And he calls me on the phone. It was the one day that I decided not to go. And I call them up and I said, tell them, no, it's your personal property. If they start wanting to arrest people or doing something or make a noise thing. But of course they say, disturbing the peace, stuff like that. So they go for other things. So
remember when I said Super Trooper?
Mm-hmm. Right.
There he is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. Somebody comes in and wants to save the society. So
you got your police officers that are there to do their job. If it's peaceful, ain't nothing going on, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody disturbing the peace. If it's in a normal hour, I'm not saying it's 2:00 in the morning and you're out there revving your engines and doing burnouts, because that falls under that whole disturbing the peace category.
Right.
But if it's 8:00 at night and let's say you got a Norris ordinance that kicks in effect at 10:00.
Mm-hmm.
I will be that cop that'll be like, hey, let's start winding this down. Y'all got a couple hours. It's time to go.
Right.
Yeah,
That's the old line. Yeah.
We're not going to be there to sit there and enforce Karen that ain't going to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that comes down to what a lot of us, not necessarily the people in this chat, because I think we understand, but car guys in general need to recognize, cops are trying to do their jobs. They don't wanna give us shit. Let's, we can have fun and hit the 2 steps, do the burnouts when we're allowed, and in areas that we're allowed to. Just follow the simple rules and don't mess with the cops. Man.
My thing is that if you're gonna do a battle, the thing is the cop that shows up to your meet, the cop that pulls you over, that is not the person that you're gonna have an argument with. That's the dumbest place to ever start having your argument.
No, that's the guy. That's the guy you want to make your best friend. You want to make him your best friend.
I'm not going to say I'm 100% friends with all the police officers that I've known in my life. I've got a couple of them that hate my guts, and that's okay. They're just, I have a couple of car guys that don't like me, and that's okay. But the thing is that he said he was.
I don't like you either.
Exactly. So that was the thing is they say I'm going to have this fight where they're like, I don't like this law. I don't like this thing or whatever. And it's like, when he's enforcing the law, he doesn't care. It's the legislation that you had 20 months ago that passed that tent law or passed that exhaust law or the stuff that's going through right now with EPA that's been chopped down by the Supreme Court. Nobody ever talks about it. Nobody ever discusses it. We wait till we get to the point now where, everybody goes, oh, well, it's just never going to happen. And that's what happens is we end up with stuff like, all the different camber laws out there. There's no rhyme or reason to why those laws were made. Now, is there unsafe camber? Guaranteed. Is there safe camber? Absolutely. There's a lot of people that run their cars with a certain level of camber that I bet they handle in a G-turn way better than any other car out there. My car is made to run on a track. So, but that's the thing is if somebody ever makes a camber law, do you think they're going to have any logic behind it? And the thing is now here's an officer that goes, I have to determine whether the camber that I'm looking at is safe or unsafe. And we end up with lowering laws or stuff that they just can't enforce. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. There's a lot of stuff out there that you go, hey, I've seen this law. I've read it. If I pulled somebody over, I can't enforce it. I don't know. I wouldn't even know how.
Yeah. And there's a lot of laws out on the books about cars and including tint that's been on the books since the 80s.
Right.
I remember growing up as a kid, my uncle went out and had that Toyota. What's that little pickup truck that everybody wants the low ride now?
Reggie. You got it, Reggie. What is it?
You know, but it's one of those things. It's like the first thing he did was he went out and got his window tint. Yeah, I think it was that AutoZone Advanced Auto window tint. But
put it on, fucking,
you know,
it's like
and it turns it purple. But you know, back then nobody questioned window tint. To now, it's a lot of the laws and a lot of, that are on the books are due to illegal activity with cars. That is what it boils down to.
Can I argue with you on something?
Yeah,
I think that a lot of the laws that we have.
Though.
You'll love this one. You'll like this one a lot. I'm going to guarantee that the excuse is that people are out there breaking the law. But what percentage of people out there in car shows and other stuff really do actually like do something that somebody else doesn't do? In other words, let's say speeding, let's say burning out, let's say height of your car. I mean, let's look at laws specifically target us. Tint. Never heard anybody break the law using tint. How about what do you call it? Lowering. Never ever heard of anybody killing anybody with a lowered car. Okay, even if you want to, and I can understand this, the Kentucky squat. That was a big thing that everybody had an argument about. Never heard of a single death with Kentucky squat. But for some reason, everybody tells me that the reason that they're making me safer and the reason that they're saying that all this stuff is going to be illegal, why my HID lights are bad, is because they've somehow caused hundreds of thousands of accidents and kill. Oh, wait a minute. They haven't caused any. Okay. Got it. The reason they're doing it is because they can't be bothered. That noise is, even though it's okay to have an ambulance go by with 140 to 150 decibels of sound. It's okay for a jackhammer to go out and pound on their street for days on end. It's okay for a road crew to chop down a tree. But for some reason, that Honda fart can just bugs the crap out of you so bad there needs to be a law.
I mean,
that's my argument.
In my opinion, and this is solely my opinion, it's not the noise that was bothering people. You had old Grandma Betty that was sitting in her front porch that got aggravated because the neighbor's kid, they went out and bought a Honda Civic and put that fart can exhaust on it.
Well, not only that, but
my ears.
Oh, yeah. What about the one? Did you ever see the one where they did it? And I forgot what. I want to say it was Tennessee, but it was. I know there was some place in California that did this too. There was a group of little old ladies who got together, made a group, and their whole entire thing was to petition or lobby the senators and the House of Representatives and all those guys that said that any, like basically your fart can Honda with this big sound system in the back that they heard for maybe 3 seconds as it drove by was somehow so oppressive that they wanted you to judge how loud it was. And if it was too loud, that you were supposed to write it up and their car gets immediately impounded and crushed.
And you want to know my answer to Grandma Betty that does that?
Yeah, please,
call?
Go ahead.
My call is, ma'am, I am not licensed to do a decibel meter. Right. That is not my job. If his radio is too loud, I'm sorry. It is daylight.
That's the only thing.
Now, if he does it at 2:00 in the morning, give us a call.
Exactly.
Be a good neighbor, man. Be a good neighbor.
But
Right.
that, and
But-
we go back to the first thing of if now we're dealing with everything that we have. It's a problem in our car community. It's been made illegal. That's been made some kind of, it's a threat to people. Is really just some
Because-
Karen saying it was too loud. It was too fast. It was too ugly. It sounded a certain way when it was driving by. That's the real problem we need to address.
And unfortunately, in real life, that's just not to the car community. That's real
Yeah.
life.
Right.
Because you got that same Karen that's a stay-at-home mom that has a 2-year-old that takes a nap at 10, 2, 4, 6. Holy shit, you're coming out, getting home from work at 6:45, and your Mustang with the blown headers and the full exhaust and the supercharger is too loud because you woke up little Johnny out of his nap.
I remember.
There is no-
That's exactly.
there
I
is
mean,
no
you can't
answer
say it
to
more
that.
golden than that. Yeah.
So
And it's not-
I remember during 2020 I was on the and my neighbor whose driveway is right outside my bedroom window. He's got a BMW M3, right?
Mhm.
And he went to work at like 11 o'clock every day. And he had that cold start. I loved it.
Yeah.
You know, but so on that point, like, do police officers look like, you know, if my 2015 Cadillac ATS, I have, you know, let's put tint on it, let's put an exhaust on it, you know, Primo's, well, this Porsche doesn't leave.
We don't talk about the Porsche, okay?
We don't
It's
talk-
like
it's
Bruno.
not-
We don't talk
I'm
about
sorry,
Bruno.
Right. We don't talk about the Porsche.
I'm sorry.
Right.
But if that ran and had exhaust, shit. All right, I'll just talk about the Cadillac.
If it
Still
had
love
an
you,
exhaust,
Primo.
it wouldn't be that loud. Even the Genesis
I
isn't
saw
that
some-
loud. But
I saw some wheels that I saw some wheels the other day that like were cut out where you could see the Porsche.
oh yes, that's been going. It's been making the rounds again. So yeah, that's.
I almost sent it to you
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, "Oh, this would be perfect
Right.
for you since it never moves."
Right, I just lined
Sorry.
it right up with it, and it would be golden. It's Brembos. It's beautiful.
I didn't mean-
They
I
look
didn't mean to-
great sitting
That's-
there.
I have
That's
Brembos. I
fine.
didn't mean to go there. Sorry.
Well, where? I'm
But-
sorry.
I got off course.
Mhm.
But if there's a nice car that has, you know, maybe a loud exhaust or something,
Mhm.
or a tint, opposed to maybe, I don't know, like a clapped out Altima, is there
You know-
a?
You know, I'm
You know
more
where I'm
apt
going with
to
it.
pull out. I'm more apt to pull over that Altima than a nice Cadillac with an
I like
exhaust.
his honesty. I like his honesty.
I'm more
You know,
apt to pull over that Buick LeSabre than Primo's Porsche.
Yeah, he knows I got a lawyer.
I have
You
a
know,
couple.
well, you and your lawyer, but however, at the end of the day, I'm not a cop that's gonna sit there and discriminate against cars, because yes, there are some nice cars out there that go out and spend the money to get the exhaust systems done on.
Mhm.
All right.
There are some clunkers out there that people go out and pay the money. We'll take my Jeep, for example. It was a 2000. We all know it's the 4.0 straight six, but
Mhm.
one of the things I did, I had headers back done on it.
Let's go.
However, it was still a mild exhaust. Did it get up and do what I needed it to do? Yes,
Oh, of course. Yeah.
but it was mild. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't cutouts. It wasn't none of that. It was designed. I had it done legally, correctly, to make sure that I was legal.
Right.
I'm not gonna go take my damn Audi in the garage and cut the exhaust off on it because I think it'll sound better and it'll go faster to annoy my people. I live in a neighborhood where majority of my neighbors are all older people.
Mm.
And it's not because of the police car parked in the yard. It's a sign of respect. If you actually, a lot of people don't get out and actually talk to their neighbors nowadays. Back
Right.
when I was growing up,
Facts.
if I got in trouble down the street, every neighbor coming back to my house whooping my ass till my parents can whoop my ass. Versus now, everybody is afraid to talk to their neighbors or know who their neighbors are.
No, you're just gonna get out there. I drank and
so
I went out and drank tequila with my neighbor last night. Way too much.
So for the people that wants to sit there and argue because neighbor Betty keeps calling the cops on them every time they start their car in the driveway or to work on their car in the driveway, have you walked over and took neighbor Betty a plate of cookies and said, "Hey, I'm your neighbor"?
Right.
People don't do that anymore. People are afraid to go talk to their neighbors. People are afraid to go talk to anybody nowadays, except for the people in their circle.
And I'm sure Reggie and Primo have more questions, but another question that I have is, what's up with these temporary plates? You just print these some bitches.
They're temporary.
Did you answer, Joe?
You know what I'm talking about. Everybody in this chat knows what I'm talking about.
All right, here we go. So temporary plates. Everybody buys a used car.
Sure, ain't coming from a fucking dealership.
You buy a temporary plate, or you buy a car. Comes with a temporary plate. It has a set date of when you need to get your plates.
30 days.
There is the dealership messed up on your paperwork, so you gotta get another one. Or B, you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that can get you another temporary plate because you ain't got the money to register and get real plates on that car.
I see it all day, every day.
And you know what? Those are the people that think they're getting away with something, but you got Joe Smuckatelli with his badge on that said, "I saw that car 35 days ago with a temporary tag on it." Guess what I'm about to do? I'm about to impound that motherfucker right there.
I don't feel like that happens around here. Like, because I see cars that I'm like, they're fully like either custom, they got camber, Honda Accord with some camber and some beat, and like, I know you didn't buy that like that. Or the ship boxes, and I'm like, I know you didn't buy it like that.
I don't know about that because a lot of custom car people do sell this stuff quite frequently.
Exactly. You got that too.
Yeah, but don't you need it? Doesn't it have to come from a dealership to have a template?
No. In the state of Arkansas.
If I sold any of these assholes a shit box, we can just print a template.
Look at your state laws, because here in the state of Arkansas, you don't have to have a temp tag on a car that you buy. Even the car I bought for my daughter when she turned 16 from a dealership did not come with a temp tag.
But you put your tags on it.
Oh, of course I put tags on it because it's a 16-year-old jackass driving it. But that's neither here nor there. But some places temp tags are temp tags. I can buy it on a Monday. I could write out that temp tag and sell it to my wife on that 29th day.
Now in Rhode Island, they're printing temp tags.
Somebody is, but that's Rhode Island, and it's Rhode Island.
Right now. So if someone so Joe Splo can write me a temp tag so I can drive my Tahoe, come on, give it to me.
But
I might know a guy. We'll talk offline, Reggie.
Okay,
but it's one of those. How concerned is law enforcement on a temp tag in your state?
But they're not.
Yes,
they're not right now.
Because some places like Arkansas, I bought a car, didn't even get a temp tag. Granted, yeah, it was 30 days, and it was less than 30 days before I put a tag on it. But some places you don't have to have temp tags. There's places here in Arkansas that rent cars, and they don't actually have hard plates on them. They actually have the place where you rented the car from as their plate.
Yep. California is like that. You buy a car like who was it? Steve Jobs was known for never having a plate on his car. Like every time you see his car, it had no plate on it. So yeah.
But Steve Jobs is also somebody who doesn't have Geico insurance either.
Seriously,
Well,
who's going to pull over Steve Jobs?
Go! You kidding me? I'd pull over Steve Jobs in a heartbeat. You know that guy's
let him go.
Here's another example for temp tags.
I'm nobody.
Here's another city that was perfect example of temp tags. Las Vegas.
Yep. Vegas was Mm-hmm.
Because
a lot of rentals and shit like that.
Well, you got the high price rentals, but you also have the high price cars that are being sold.
Right. Yeah,
and
but you're not gonna pull over an Aventador. You're gonna pull over an Altima.
Why not?
Right.
Why not?
They will in Vegas.
Why not? Joe, when you get a chance, get on that old YouTube on the interwebs.
And
there's
how's that work?
There's an Aventador that was rented in Las Vegas. The driver killed like 2 people in a car crash.
I did see that.
So why wouldn't I pull over an Aventador if it's breaking the law?
True. No, facts. Yeah. If they're driving like assholes,
But I'm also the type of asshole cop where when I'm at work, I'm at work.
Yeah.
If grandma's doing 35 in a 55, yes, grandma's gonna get pulled over. Grandma, you going too damn slow.
Keep it moving. How you doing? Keep it moving.
If my 16, 17-year-old daughter is doing 90 in a 55, yes, I'm gonna pull her the fuck over too. I'm not that cop that would single out people. Yes, I am that asshole of a cop to pull my wife over and write her fucking tickets too. I have a job to do.
I'm doing
my job.
I appreciate your job, and I appreciate what you do, and I appreciate that you are like a reasonable cop. If you pulled me over, like, all right, I'm doing 85 and a 65, but I'm controlling my vehicle. I'm just cruising, right?
But is there any need to take you to jail for careless, reckless driving? No. Hey, man, what you got going on? What are you in a hurry for?
I'm trying to get A to B, man.
Hey, slow it down, homie.
If I catch you doing it again, thank you for stopping me. I appreciate what you do.
But we go back to the custom cars and everything else where that doesn't happen because, you got Billy Badass with his 350Z that is souped up and he wants to show that motherfucker. The cops show up and what's the first thing he's going to say? What the fuck you doing here?
All right.
Instead of hearing the cop out or trying to side with the cop and figure out what's going on, you shouldn't be here. That you got the ones that come up to the cops with an attitude, and that's where everything goes south.
Yeah, you should totally show up, and the cops are there, to protect everybody.
Yep.
And just a lot of them are like yourself, are car guys too. Like, just say, hey, how you doing? Check out my ride.
But majority of the cops that show up to getting the noise complaints and the disturbance calls, they come up with that mentality. But you got that one that they come across right when they show up that shows up with an attitude.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I've
And
had that.
that one makes it bad for the other 80 cars that are there.
Mhm.
Right.
You know,
And
you look at it, it's all over YouTube of the car beats that just pop up in South Carolina and Florida and Georgia, where they show up and they're showing off their cars, but then you got that one jackass out of the group. It could be 350 cars out there. You got that one jackass in the middle of the street when everything should be calm, cool, and collective that decides he wants to start doing donuts in the middle of the public road.
Mhm.
I will tell everybody this, and everybody should know this. The radio is faster than your car. If they got your license plate, they know where you're going to supposedly live.
I mean,
Most states now have got it to the point where you have to put an emergency contact when you register your vehicle.
I'll take that challenge with like a McLaren P1.
That's good.
Or a Ferrari LaFerrari. But take the challenge. I'll take the risk. Catch me. I don't have either one of those. For the record.
It's okay if you do, because I'm bringing my Ferrari up there. We're gonna go play on the interstates.
You already ran my record. I know. It's okay. I expected this out of this channel. I already. Yeah, he already knows where I live. It's okay. I don't break the law.
All right. There's some questions.
Allegedly.
Well, you got
What about-
ECS has got two on there. Where ECS magazine, that's Reggie asking some questions, and then you have Hunter Layton with some big smiles over here laughing, on his side laughing because of the last one, and then Bobby Bobby Arkwright had commented we don't have them in Mississippi, and that was about 10th, so that was a while back. So. Which that was the thing is, I think we did that. Hunter would like to ask, what laws are there against minis? Is there a specific kind of law or type of mini or something? In other words, like I'm guessing they mean old right-hand drive ones. In other words, that thing is if you can legalize something and it's importable,
like a gay truck.
He's talking about Is he talking about the mini car or mini? The mini car?
Mini trucks. Okay.
Mini trucks. So like those
mini trucks.
Those K truck, the right-hand drive K trucks.
Mm-hmm.
JDM K trucks.
It's one of those you gotta look at your state laws on it.
Right.
You know.
No, he's talking about bag custom mini trucks down south. It was to build the mini trucks, bag trucks. See?
Bag trucks.
Like
It's
the
one
ones
of those.
on the road, drop the back end down, throw sparks down the road, and slam to the ground. The ones down south that are real popular. They're not really popular up here.
That's the biggest thing about that too is you got to ask one thing about everybody. One thing everybody you got to remember: nobody here is a lawyer. Nobody here can advise you one way or the other on how to.
I play one on the radio.
Yeah, you can play one, but officially, none of us here can advise you one way or the other.
Not officially.
So if you have a vehicle, it's best to get in. That's the beauty of the internet today. If I need to know something about the code or the way a vehicle is registered or what it takes to legalize a vehicle, simply put, just pull up your state's code. You can go through the information. There may be a couple of local things that may be predominant with it. But for the most part, vehicles that are scraping on the ground are effectively not legal because they're doing damage to property. But again, like I said, it's something that you want to check with your state and local officials, and that's the thing is always just consult with a lawyer. So
I love how Primo drops the disclaimers that I would totally forget.
Yeah, it says Hunter says I had a bagged S10, but didn't get any police attention here in South Carolina. And that's the thing is this is the beauty of the bag thing is you go to a show, you drop all the way to the ground, you look great, then you drive away and you can lift it as high as you want. And the thing is I kind of think of it for me as if it looks like a normal car, nobody's going to think of it anything anyway other than a normal car. And that's the thing. As long as it's registered and insured, whatever it is in your local area, then you're fine.
It's when it comes to the back vehicles, you're right. It's the ones that decide that they want to leave that back bumper or got the skid plates to throw sparks.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're causing damage to the highways and the roadways. That's where you get in trouble. It's not the back vehicle itself. It's the ones that decide to leave it on the ground and throw the sparks.
My favorite one is a video to this day where somebody had a bag truck, laid the back end down, and was dragging in front of a state trooper, just laying sparks into the front of his car. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So,
yeah, I'm pretty sure that video didn't finish, did it?
Yeah. It didn't end well.
It finished the way you would expect it to.
Right. Yeah. But it was still fun. I'm sure that's the other thing is that a lot of times, and in taking with you, Sebastian, into tow here too, is a lot of times these guys are usually car guys that like stuff. And I mean, I've been pulled over before just because somebody wanted to look at the cars. So it is what it is. You can't take it personal. You can't. It's part of that thing, and it's a good thing. So, I mean, I would rather have good attention than I would bad attention. But a lot of times, like I said, if you're part of one thing that you were talking about earlier with the community thing and shaking hands with your friends, I think the other thing about that goes into supporting your local charities. One of the big things right now that we need, that I'm seeing more and more car shows support, is food banks. And these food banks are part of the local legislation, local law enforcement, all these different things that can be supported by our car community that we kind of leave on the corner. We don't think to support it. And those are where you're shaking hands with people that really, like Joe was saying, you want to be friends with. Those are the guys that are actually later on going to say, you know what? I don't think we should pull that guy over or do something with him, because all he did was he sped a little bit. People speed all the time, trust me. And then they go, what? Let's let him go.
But I remember you from X, Y, and Z. You're good.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So, but a lot of people try to figure out what's a good way to host a car show. 9 times out of 10, if you go to your local food bank, I guarantee they have a parking lot that can hold at least 300 cars on the small side.
Yep.
Because they'll be happy to help. They will be happy to host that car show in their parking lot if you can get food coming in that food bank.
Yep. And you think about it,
guess who your number one bigwigs are that you can rub elbows with will show up to a food bank, because the mayor is going to be there once, because it's publicity for the food bank, and it's publicity for him. Of course. So
I just want to let everybody know that today I signed off on the food bank car show to make sure that these guys were able to support our local food bank charities. By the way, they've increased due to the things that I've done by 40%. So anyway,
you make an incredible point, because the Rhode Island Food Bank has a huge parking lot.
Yep.
And the controller of your city ordinances for sound systems can't be over a certain decibel. Your window tint for certain areas, that's a state law. But however, a lot of your city ordinances that contains to your exhaust and your sound system and what you can and can't do with your car in the city, guess who can overturn all that stuff?
Exactly. Yeah.
Governors, the mayors of all those areas.
That's where you turn into that politician car guy.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, have a lot of that.
You got to change the stigma of the car scene.
Right.
Not conform to what the stigma of everybody thinks the car scene is.
That's easier said than done, man.
I'm going to beg to differ. I think that it's literally, there's not, if it was saying that we had to make these huge changes, then I would be right with you, Joe. I absolutely 100%. And I've seen it 100 times where somebody says, that's too much of a step. But I mean, how hard is it to host a car show at a food bank? I mean, that really isn't that big a step. And it's something that would be so easy to do. And I've suggested it a million times. And now I'm seeing 2 shows that do it. I mean, for instance, the the largest show that we kind of or meet that we have in the area is supported basically by the like the Bass Pro parking area and all that.
Right.
All that stuff is told to say you're giving something to the food bank, and it's part of the charity benefit that goes into that. All that money goes to that charity. That's
But
notice how
but in the
easily they
same-
get their show going.
But Primo, in the same sense, we just had a area that was allowed burnouts, donuts, two steps, all that.
Yep.
And it still got shut down because of nonsense. I won't go any further because
I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was going to have a discussion on it, but you're right.
If you want, I don't care.
No, that's fine. You're right in some respects. I just don't want to go off topic with down that rabbit hole because I think you're right about some things. But then the other thing is I kind of
there's always going to be some asshole that screws it up.
If you don't have
there's always going to be Karen.
That's the thing is if you don't have the right group of people and the right mindset going in, there are certain people that go in that, hey, if you expect people to act up and do things, there's things are going to happen. But that's the thing
there's always going to be a Karen or a Kyle.
Yeah, but think
about
call
the cops and Kyle's going to fuck it up for everybody.
As the event coordinator, you always need to keep that in mind for your car show that you're going to have those people show up.
But think about Bass Pro. That's the thing is Bass Pro has been going on for years and years and years. I can count on my right hand how many times they've had problems. Now, do people leave and maybe leave too fast, or do people go out there and do a couple of burnouts from time to time? Maybe, but a chirp here and a chirp there, nobody cares. And the thing is that the event is so huge that it's so good. But if you have an event, sure, if you have a meet and you bring a couple of people that you know for a fact are going to be a problematic or have been problematic in the past, and you as a leader don't know how to really control your car show, I can see that you having problems and having things broke down. Make changes. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and that's the thing
that's where you need to talk to those certain people. If you know that they're going to show up, that's when you need to pull them off to the side and be like, hey, we can't have that. This ain't for y'all. This is for the kids.
Right. Oh, not only that, but I mean, come up to a first show. Imagine if I had a show and we came out. If I came out and I had my loudspeaker and I put it on and go, hey, I just want to let everybody thank everybody for coming up today. Remember that everything you do here goes to benefit children, food banks, whatever. And we even have the mayor here that's going to come out and check out your cars because he wants to buy something. He may even give you some offers for some things. Now you have a different mindset. It's a different, some of the kids from the local shelter here to their orphanage or whatever that you're putting money towards are going to come out and they want to see your cars. Make sure you buy your cars so you can show your cars off. Different mindset. And it takes little itty bitty steps that, hey, if it's your first show, you're going to make mistakes. But if it's I see guys that do 200 shows and they're still making the same mistakes, still being shut down for the same stupid stuff. And the other thing is that, if an officer shows up and you have permission, if you have stuff in writing, if you have stuff, don't just buckle under pressure and go, nope, cops here, break it up, let's go home. No, walk up to them and say, look, here's all the stuff. Guys, I understand there might be some, you got some clerical errors.
That's where when you get to know your police officers that are at your police departments, your sheriff's deputies, and you go, all right, every time we have a show here, we have a problem with the same people. That's where they take you get the heat off of your show. It's still successful. And now the heat is on the people that is causing your problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
You don't want to be a snitch for your car, for the car enthusiasts that are coming out there. But at the same time,
you don't want to fuck
you
up
don't
your
need
whole
that
show.
heat. You don't want to fuck up your shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, this is your third time I done told you about this shit. You're fucking up my shit because now the cops are showing up. You're not invited.
Yeah. Right.
But if you want to act and perform and go by the rules of this show and the respect of me and the people that are letting us do this here, let's do that. But if you can't do that, I don't need you here.
Right. The other thing that I used to say to people all the time is it's not your ability to make a show or have a show while everything is going perfect. When everything goes perfect and you've lined all your letters together, you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's, anybody can do a show like that, especially if they have any kind of support and everybody shows up. But when you have that person that screws up, when you have the cops show up because you haven't done anything right, how you handle those situations, that truly defines your ability to continue to be a good show leader. That's my opinion.
I've been to shows like that. And, I've been to shows where the host of the show, because it wasn't for him, he was representing his shop. Yeah. His shop's name was on the flyer. And that guy actually called out the people that brought the negative attention to his show. He called them out by name. He put them on blast because he didn't want to do business with them no more. He didn't want to put them out. He put them out there on the spot. Like, hey, you fucked this shit up for a lot of people.
You brought the idiot. To do good. You own it.
So now you got to own it, because now not only was there law enforcement there showing cars, there's also the average guy that has been busting his ass on his muscle car. There's the average guy that's been busting his ass, spending half of his paycheck getting his Honda Civic right. There's the little guy there that's trying to learn how to do this shit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You don't need that negative Nancy, Jesse, James, or whoever the fuck it is fucking up your shit.
Right.
Because that also takes away from people getting into the car scene, which is what it is hard right now. You're trying to get these 16, 17, 18-year-old kids that have got their driver's license, trying to come up into where us OGs have been doing this for years.
Right.
They're not going to learn shit from it because of you let nasty freaks into the car show. And now Nasty Freaks is doing what everybody knows what Nasty Freaks is going to do. They're going to show up and show out.
But here's the other thing,
that's
Sebastian,
all they do.
Is the other thing that I think is pristinely important, that there's a separation right now between youth and age. Usually what happened back in the day when I was young and I grew up, I went to a car show. It was guys with the muscle cars. It's a car that I wanted. I hung out with them. The Trans Am guys, the Mustang guys, it was Chevy, Ford, GM, that kind of thing. But that was the thing is I had the same guys that I was growing up with, that my car was now getting molded to be with them. There was a hand down of that. This is how you respect the car show. You don't go to the shark car show and you don't rub your fingers all over somebody's paint. You respect other cars. You respect your community, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff was handed down. Today, we don't have that. We have different variations of age. We don't have old school import guys. Everybody is different ages, and we're not really handing down that next generation the respect that, for instance, the old how do I say this? The old school car clubs, like the lowrider guys, they continue to teach generation after generation their stuff. We need to be able, as our age, be able to take responsibility and start saying, you guys are with us. I don't care who you are. You're a car community. You're the automotive community. You're with us. We're going to start helping you to understand certain things that you do, certain things that you don't. Stop separating us by culture. Stop separating us by car classes, all this other stuff that's going on. Any kind of separation, we have to kind of get together and be okay with each other's cars, and then not be rude about how we teach the future generations to do stuff. Like, there's a lot of these guys that run car shows that I've seen that I said, that's the best car show runner in the world. Like, I've seen guys that really know how to run a show right. They have not dealt with any of the guys that do meets. And that's why the younger groups do meets. They don't have permission. When I was doing it, I got it. And I said, you know what? I got an idea. I'm going to mix the meet idea with permission. And then I'm going to do the stuff. And I'm even going to have a detail at my meet that happens at 8 or 9 at night. And I never had problems. But these guys don't follow
these takeovers and shit.
Yeah.
A lot of these problems are these takeovers and shit. Where there's no rules, there's no laws, there's no gentleman's agreement.
But
That's
that's where
yeah.
you come back into the law enforcement side of the custom car laws. You know, you have these hostile takeovers where you got the club of 38 people that do whatever the fuck they want.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about the rules. They don't care about the agreements between a host of a meet. They don't care. They don't care.
Right.
That's what it is. It
But
boils
you
down
have
to they don't care. But
I
then
think
you
that's
got the
what
ones that
we
do
get.
care.
We get into a lot of the problems. There is where these takeovers they just show up. And I think as a car community, we need to shut down the takeovers.
And by the way, I just want to say hi to Vinny. Yes, we're still going. You just got home. Hope you guys are enjoying the weekend. We're trying our best to enjoy it. Yes. So, and then Hunter Layton said, "I'm in same people, different show," which is exactly what we were saying before.
You know, it's one of those with the takeovers. The takeovers are not going to stop. They're always going to be there.
Right.
No, the meets they're always going to be there, but it's a controlled chaos. Car shows controlled chaos.
You know how we could get those meets changed? It'll be pretty simple. If let's say a mayor or somebody like that said, you know what, I'm tired of seeing them take over a Walmart parking lot. We have this great food bank. We have this great whatever. We have this great center of town that they could all come and park in. I don't know. Maybe the road goes both ways. Maybe them saying, you know what, maybe I should accept this car world and try to get out there and have them together. The only problem I ever saw with that was we had one where they brought everybody together, and the whole entire time, the main security dude there is like, I see gangs here. And I'm like, there are no gangs here, buddy. It's just a bunch of dudes with cars and they're hanging out. And every time we ever did it, they were always successful. So like I said, the street goes both ways. Maybe if we open the door for them, then I think it should go the other way around. To stop looking at these car communities as something to crush or something to do away with. If they really are doing the right meet in a public parking lot, this is where I used to say, people, if you want to do the right kind of meet, it's pretty simple. Find a place like I don't know, like an Olive Garden or a 99 or whatever, Chili's. I don't know. I won't advertise people, but some kind of store. Go to a place next to a parking lot, park there, and everybody instead of, I know it's okay.
I'm offended as an Italian American.
Yeah, instead of staying at your car, actually go in and get food. Actually go into a place and come back out and go, I have a bag from something that I bought. I'm not here for some stupid meat. I actually bought food, and I'm sitting in my car and I'm eating or I'm doing whatever. Funny how you don't get bugged when you do stuff like that.
Yeah, but don't leave it in the goddamn parking lot, which is what they normally do.
Clean up after you. If you're not cleaning up after yourself, you have a bigger problem than a car meet.
That's called lazy. But
right, exactly.
We did it in Jacksonville. We did it in Jacksonville when I was stationed there. One of the things we did, Best Buy parking lot, right off of Western.
Right.
We would do a takeover in that parking lot. But however, we kept it clean. We kept it adult. Well, we kept it kid friendly. We weren't out there trying to show our asses,
Right. That's the point.
We're going. You got Best Buy. What does Best Buy sell? Car electronics. Yep. What does everybody need to get? They want that new sound system.
So how hard is it to call the dude that's running Best Buy and go, hey, by the way, do you mind if we have a car meet at your place at 8 on whatever, or do it during time when the place is about, let's say they close at 5, do the meet at 3 and then show to stay till 5. And then when they close up, you leave. I think they'd be, and we're going to all park around your little area there where you actually sell car parts, and you guys come out and show us car parts. And the other thing is that when you do stuff like that, be okay with hearing no. If somebody says, no, I don't want to do that here, go to the next person.
That's when you're supposed to move on to the next person. But because they said, Best Buy said, no, fuck Best Buy. We're still going to do the shit. We're just going to meet up at 9 o'clock after they close. That's
I don't want to.
That's the mentality.
Yeah, that's trespassing. But that's the thing is again, one of the reasons, and I think Reggie, correct me if I'm wrong here, is the reason that we have this show right here is to give people, because that's the thing is I don't want to sit around and complain all the time and say nobody does anything right. This is how screwed up things are. Yeah, let's be honest. The car community as a whole gets targeted a lot of times. Stop picking your nose. A lot of times we get targeted for things that are not our fault. We also get targeted for things that are tertiarily our fault. But there's times when we look over and we say, let's handle the stuff and do it right. And everybody gets involved in it and does the right stuff. And we actually can get along. Like we can fix these problems that we keep running into that everybody constantly complains about, but nobody wants to ever give a solution to. So here's your solution. Here's the way to get out of it. Do you want to keep going tonight, Reggie, or do you want to call it a night?
Hey, look,
Use the big ass word. Now you lost me after the big word.
Oh, the big word. Sorry.
Look, I just want to throw it in there that the fact that Tuesday's my birthday and I'm gonna be handsomer and younger and prettier.
Happy birthday to you.
Sing it, Primo. Let's go.
Dude, let's do it. Let's bust it out.
My birthday's on Tuesday.
Happy birthday, Uncle Reggie.
I want every follower out there for ECS Magazine to donate $1, and we're going to take every single dollar and donate it to the Poor Willis Reggie Foundation. No, just kidding.
just look at it and say 29 again, right?
Anybody watching right now, make sure for Uncle Reggie's birthday, you smash that subscribe, that like button, hit those notifications, turn it on. Every Saturday we up in here.
What time, Joe?
You want to hang out
something right now? Anybody want to hang out?
I got the time. I got the time. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Hey, check this out. For my birthday, coming up for Tuesday, before next Saturday, I want everybody that's watching this, or if ends up watching this after the fact, to set it to, I'm going to be 43 years old, set it to 43 people to subscribe.
Ooh, I like it. Hit the share button. Share and then share.
I feel great.
Share.
I feel great about being 43 if you're 43.
Sharing is caring.
Right. Hunter Layton,
you old son of a bitch.
Hunter Layton says, "Love watching y'all on Saturday nights. Been watching for a few weeks now. Thank you, Hunter. I hope that
let's go, Hunter. Thank you.
I hope the psychological therapy isn't too bad for you. So we're not responsible for any of that. So
comes up, he turned 72. I want you to share it 72 times.
Wow, there you go. I like it.
Let's go. Comment, subscribe, share, hit those notifications, man.
If
we have fun here.
YouTube, I want everybody to put into the comments what they think Primo looks like. Does he look like the Guru from the Minions, or Mr. Green on steroids?
Gru. He look like Gru. We already know he look like Gru.
Let me help you guys out there. It's really two things, okay? It's either Fester from the Addams Family, or
you got too much color.
It's Hawaii 5-0. So it's either one of the two. It's not anywhere in between, right?
Yeah,
Rick. Oh, we forgot about Rick.
Who?
From Pawn Stars. Rick.
Rick? I have to look it up now. I don't know that one.
Oh, from Pawn Stars?
Yeah, from Pawn Stars.
Does he? Does he have a mustache?
Joe,
he did goatee back.
But Joe, when you say Pawn Stars,
this doesn't work. Yeah.
But
I can never be a cop because I can never get the mustache right.
Primo.
Hunter says Uncle Fester. We got one for Fester. I'm in. Let's do it.
Joe's not allowed to say Pawn Stars no more. He's from Rhode Island. When he says Pawn Stars, it sounds like he's calling you a porn star.
Well, I mean,
he did call him a porn star. What are you talking about?
Again,
I can neither confirm nor deny my past.
In Joe's words, Primo is a porn star driving a car.
Car, yes, a car.
Driving a car.
Right.
Hey, why you looked up at me? You looked up at me. I saw that.
Looked up at you and pointed too. And poked your nose.
Don't you disrespect my goddamn
Reggie, we have seen the
shitty
videos.
accent.
OnlyFans. It's free right now. So later on, it's for the Shalolo money of $2.99 per minute. So
All right,
$20 is $20. Don't matter how you get it.
it's the Reggie's Nose OnlyFans. Huh?
And anybody
It's the
that
after
comes,
show. Yeah, no,
look,
it's not.
I appreciate each and everybody that comes on the Hangout. If you're actually one of the lucky ones that get to hit me up to get the link to come on and be live with us one Saturday night for whatever topic we're discussing, when we end the show, we always stick around for a few minutes for a little after party and goof off.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we all forgot that we were still live.
No, I didn't.
I didn't forget. You forgot.
This is who I am. I hate to break that to you, but yeah.
Reggie, you're the only motherfucker that forgot that we had not still live.
Right.
I'm still a normal person before I'm a cop, so I don't care.
Right.
Drink beer.
Why did nobody take that seriously, Sebastian? Nobody took that seriously.
Nobody bought it yet.
Not one person.
Nah,
You can see him walking up to the car now because he's going to be like, "I'm sorry, sir, license registration." Right?
I can't wait.
It's got to be, dude. You got to do it. You got to. I want to hear that smooth voice of what is it like 2 years of training at least, and then how many years
Sebastian,
you've been doing this. I want to hear the license and registration, sir. Step out of the car.
Give me the. I was doing 75 and a 25.
Right.
Do it, Sebastian.
Well, unfortunately, sir, I'm at that point in my career where fuck that bullshit.
That is not how you approach cars.
He's going to pull him out and beat the living hell out of him. That's how it's going to go. So I'm just saying.
I'm at the point in my career where it's like, hey, what color is a stop sign? Red. What does a stop sign say? STOP. What does that mean? Stop.
Spin tires
Why the
on
fuck
pavement.
You didn't do it? Have a nice day. As I walk off.
Are you saying that stop
time?
You saying that stop doesn't stand for spin tires on pavement?
No, not no more.
Darn it.
You can try it if you want to.
That explains a lot of my tickets. But anyway,
that's what I thought.
Just saying.
That's what it meant.
That's what I thought. I don't know.
And in Rhode Island, we yield at stop signs and we stop at yield signs.
Well, so, I thought it was like this. It's green means go, red means stop, yellow means go faster. I thought that's how that works.
Yeah. That's a lot of
yellow
places.
Definitely means go faster.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But anyway, by the way, anything that we're doing here, we have not done allegedly.
No, allegedly.
Right, allegedly. That was the line from.
He does that as a police officer. He stops at the green light and goes at the red light.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
my best comment that I ever heard from an officer was when we were
allegedly
driving and we had the reds, we had the was it red and blues or the spinning lights on top anyway. And he looks over and I was like, "Where can we go?" And he goes, "You see those spinning lights on top?" He goes, "You can go wherever you want." I was like, that word. Yeah. So Hunter says can't comment or speculate on any accusations. No, and I can neither confirm or deny things I did not witness. And the other line you want to remember is I have no recollection of that, Senator. So,
but you know what I have to say to all of that, seeing that he is from South Carolina. Fuck South Carolina, Myrtle Beach.
Wow. I like Myrtle Beach. I was kind of into that. So, but
yeah, I used to until they decided I should get a ticket, motherfuckers.
Oh, Sebastian, did you get in trouble for having a squatter pick?
He didn't get a pass. He didn't get the pass.
You're a cop. Sebastian, not get the pass.
Sebastian, you had the squatter Jeep, didn't you? You had the squatting Jeep, didn't you? Oh, you poor guy.
Yeah. I was in the Jeep when I got that ticket. Yeah, I was in it.
Sebastian Hunter says they get you for anything
like,
here.
Hey-o.
And then Sarah says, "Tell us how you really feel." And then Hunter says, "Luckily, I live on the north end, so that's perfect."
There, he's drunk.
No,
I ain't there yet. I'm trying to get there.
That's the thing is I want to tell the watching audience out there that dependent on how long we go in the show is basically the level of alcohol that has been consumed during it. So if you notice that as we get to the hour mark, there's like a 0.2, 0.4, 0.6.
Okay.
It starts to escalate.
I got news for you. You must be completely wasted, Primo, because we're past an hour and 14 minutes.
I wear it well. Don't ask me to drive though. Sarah says, ask Sebastian what was playing on the monitors. I don't know what that means, but go ahead.
Oh, Sebastian's
Ain't gonna lie, it was porn.
Sebastian reads teleprompters like the president.
He has one word for you people. I mean,
Yep. It was not R-rated, okay? It was not R-rated.
It wasn't rated, Sebastian.
It had some X's behind it. That was a rating.
And there was a minivan with a wife and kids behind us.
Well, don't get behind me then if you don't want to see it.
Yes, I'm worried. Yes, go ahead.
You want to join my OnlyFans?
I thought I was already a member. You said you did. You didn't send me the link. I'm paying $2.99 a month for something.
Wow.
It's a
really,
fan.
Man, Jesus.
Look at that. That's the OnlyFans fan page.
Yeah, 2 bulbs out. Don't think very well.
Huge fan.
Wow.
Good.
Yep. That
So,
went.
just to let everybody know, we did fire the comedy writers a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
So
they're all gone.
Yeah,
so I don't know. Yeah, this is what you get. Fucking.
Yeah, were you available? How good are you writing comedy? We need a troop here. Yeah.
Yeah, we need somebody.
I know, because I'm not. Yeah, so I'm just. Yeah.
That was.
Sebastian almost pulled him over.
That
for
was
the comedy.
He should.
Bad.
Sebastian, give him a fucking ticket for that. Jesus.
Right.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be there in a couple weeks. He knows.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's some disorderly conduct right there.
That exactly. That's
horrible,
disturbing the
joke.
peace.
And
Joking
bad
while
one-
intoxicated.
There it is. There it is.
There it is. Yep.
He's
There
got
it
his
is.
fucking
You know
jar
that's
of moonshine.
You know that stuff is only good for taking off paint.
Oh.
Look at
No, he didn't have the right shit. That's how that was.
Right, yeah.
Hey, look, this was actually to me better than the banana pudding one.
Banana pudding.
What
This
flavor
is,
we got this week?
Right.
This one is Mountain Java coffee cream liquor.
Oh.
Liqueur. Oh, very dignified.
I think we're supposed to do this in the. I
think he has his pinky up.
Supposed to be in the
Post-game?
after show. Yeah.
This
So
is
you know
supposed
what?
to be in the after
I'll do this then.
show?
I will say, you know what, Dredgy, I will finish you off in a very easy way. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. This has been the ECS Hangout Saturday at 8 p.m. Remember, every Saturday at 8 p.m. We are on Facebook, Instagram, IG, YouTube, everywhere. Make sure you like and subscribe. Remember, it's sponsored by Control Freak. That's controlfreakcompany.com. I would like to thank Joe Farrow, Sebastian, and Reggie, who always does the best hosting ever from ECS Magazine.
Oh yeah, I do a lot of work.
And I will continue.
Joe, you did a great job tonight. I'm gonna give it to Joe.
Right.
I'm gonna give it to Joe tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Joe tonight.
Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you.
And I will continue to be on here as long as the medication is flowing. So yeah, I want to thank everybody for showing up again. We will be back next Saturday, 8 p.m. Don't miss on the Insanity. Thank you guys for showing up on ECS Hangout. We'll see you next Saturday at 8 p.m. as long as my mic works. Talk to you then.
Let's go.
See you next week.